on the bracket, but this is the round 3 match between VPMonster and Acero. VPMonster from the States, Acero from Japan, and it's a race to 14. It's alternate break, and well, VPMonster doesn't think he's got much of a chance. But then again, you never know. Yeah, I thought that we've just watched the Romario Snake Eyes match, and I was thinking that the next match was Larry and DJ Simon at 8 o'clock, and then this match at 9 o'clock tonight. But it was actually the other way round. It was the Romario match, and then it's this match at 4 o'clock. Now the Romario match is over. And luckily I looked at the bracket and actually read it properly and found out that this match was due to start. So we managed to get in. We just missed the lag. And we're good to go. Well, if Wit goes to YouTube or Twitch, both of the channels should be now live. Acero, has he gone? I thought he'd gone too far. I think he's okay. No, he's fine. He might be able to. I don't know. I think he's just possible to hold for that 6. The only problem with it, he's got angle on it, which isn't good. So he's having to drag this and draw it. Try and stun across and out for that 7, and he's made not a bad effort at it. But the mistake has been made, and these are the type of opportunities that VPMonster is going to have to pounce on. He just needs to gently cut that in, and he may well want to either come around behind the 10 and leave the angle in the 9, which is the best idea because that makes it simpler to get across the table and onto that 10. So Acero made the unforced error, and VPMonster is going to get a bonus stealing this first rack. But the break now goes to Acero in rack number 2. It's dry. And well, VPMonster should just be looking to play a push somewhere. Now up in that top right corner isn't too bad because the 1 isn't a good bank from there. Or anywhere up there is not a bad shot, because it won't bank. It's too close to the rail, and it's more likely going to be a double kiss. But look at the way these balls are spread. Everything can hinge on this first ball, this one ball. Whoever gets it and can get a shot in that too, they're looking good for the rack. The only problem one could be that that 5 ball there. That's just slightly awkward. And VPMonster gets the bank, but he's going to need a good shot in this too. He's going to collide with the 9, and if he gets lucky, he may well run through off that right side rail and still have a shot in the 3. But it's all your eggs into one basket here if he's going to go for it. And he's got the kiss. It hasn't quite worked out, but he should have acero in trouble again. I think he's looking at a possible billiard here, but I don't think it's on. It's too close. He needs to look at just marrying that cue ball onto the 9. Well, he went a roundabout way of trying to do it there, trying to spin into the rail and come in behind the 9. He hasn't got the cover. No, take my advice. It's not worth listening to the stream, because you know, I'm going to say what I see. We don't want anybody getting upset. Not advisable to be playing in a match and listening to a stream at the same time. And acero has played a decent enough safety, but it's not tight enough. And VPMonster can certainly jump the 8 and the 6. He's called the 4 into the corner past the 9. Now that 5 ball, let's have a look at it. Well, it goes past the 10. But once again, it goes past when you're looking right down on it. It's a lot tougher if you're playing that at any sort of angle. And well, VPMonster got the jump and almost got the pot, but he's left it on. And acero just looking to get fairly straight on this 5 ball if he can, and that's pretty good. I don't think he could have played that any better, and he can just stun that 5 in, and he's on the 6. I think it goes past the 8 okay. So the first rack, acero got in and made the mistake on the 7 ball. It hung up in the pocket. And this time he's looking odds on to square the match up. We're back at 1-all. No, Romario just played the way he normally does. He either hits or misses. And but again, he made far too many errors that cost him. So this table has the 6 and the 4 ball tied up. I'll do my little squiggles with my arrows. Well, he's going to miss running into the 6 and the 4 off this 1. Ideally, he would like to just run into the 8 just to hold for the 3 ball. And that's worked out nice. But now the problem starts. He's trying to get the split. He's got the split, and I think that's worked out. Oh, maybe not. Well, it is. It will go. That's worked out very nice in the end. It's a bit of a squeeze, but should get it. Well, the problem now is going to be to get from there down to here for this 8 ball, and that isn't as easy as it said. And just a reminder, guys, if it's not on the bracket yet, Mr. Bill spoke to me earlier on, and his plan is that his match with Vince says is going to be tomorrow at 3 PM British Summer Time. I don't know whether that has been confirmed yet, but that's what Bill said to me. Or is it 3 or 4 my time? I can't remember. He said it's going to be 8 AM his time. Well, that was the problem. I said that about getting from the 7 to the 8. And this is another chance for VPMonster to steal a rack. And this is exactly what he has to do. Cannot afford to throw away these sort of chances. And he's got absolutely nothing to do here other than pot the 9 and just let that cue ball come across. I need to try my little circle thing as well. Let me try that while I'm messing about. Right, hang on a minute. And that goes into a square. If you do that, it goes into a triangle. That's weird. It's a round 3 match. This is definitely a round 3 match. There you go, round 1, round 2, round 3. Don't tell me I've titled it as a round 2 match, have I? I was in such a desperate hurry to kill that other stream and get this one set up. So acero calling the kick and calling the 1 ball, but just really looking to get some sort of safety here. And he'll take that. That's ended up okay. Now VPMonster should be looking just to skim down the rail up into that far left corner if he can. But he's using the 6 and the 8 as cover, and that's got VPMonster in charge of this safety exchange. Now, I'm not so sure that Acero can get the angle to get to that one. That middle pocket is in the way. It looks in the way, that knuckle. Yeah, he had to actually check the cue ball to make the angle there. Well, now VPMonster is looking to roll up onto the 8 here and get it as tight as he can, and that will do. But Acero might well be an ace with a jump cue, although he's not entertaining it. He's looking just to kick, and he's called the corner pocket, I think. Well, neither of these two players were in the lobby at all in the last 2 or 3 hours. So the assumption is neither of the two of them were practicing unless they were doing it offline. So VPMonster has his chance. He's got ball in hand. He's looking around at the lay of the table. And now he's looking to just stun this 2 in if he can and hold for that 3 into this bottom left hand corner. Well, he's just going to roll it. Well, the next problem is getting from the 4 to the 5. Plenty of room, a huge area on the table to get on that 5, but I think he's gone a bit straight here. Yep, he's going to have to get this cue ball moving. And it needs to keep cracking. It's gone a bit short, but he's okay now. Can he stun around? Oh, I haven't got my straight line. Hang on a minute. Can he stun around and come down and get that 6? Well, he's spinning it around. He needs to keep going. That'll do it. And then, of course, he's got the same problem again to get from that 9 up to the 10. Now, what he doesn't want to do, he wants to spin along to the right here to go the other side of that 9 and leave that 8 ball into the left middle, because that way it's the simplest to get on the 9. And the one thing that VPMonster has in his favour, he predominantly plays, I mean, he only came to 10 ball to play in this tournament. He doesn't play 10 ball. He is predominantly a cowboy or a caroms player. I don't think he plays a lot of 3 cushion, but the skills that he uses in cowboy, he can very much use those, like the spin that he uses off the rails just to get that cue ball to spin in behind and around the 9 there. And that looks good. That's perfect pace. Absolutely perfect. And you don't want to get carried away with yourself here. Just roll this in. So now we have a gap. And VPMonster has that gap. He leads by 3 racks to 1. The 2 kicks in the 6. He's got no shot, but more than likely might fancy this billiard here, or he might try and just drop behind the 2. It looks as if he's lining up the billiard, because that's well placed for a billiard shot off the edge of that 1 and kiss into the 2. Just misjudged it. Well, Acero is under a wee bit of pressure here in this rack. The balls are not set perfect. He's got a difficult shot to start with, but he should have a shot in the 2. And he's hung up the 1. Now, how does that 4 ball look? Well, it isn't going anywhere that side. And it will go there, but look at the area that you've got to get into to get on that 4. But the 3 being very close to it, it's unlikely to avoid colliding with something when you pot that 3 unless you get a good angle on it. And he's underhit it, I think. Has he found a gap? Well, he's got the gap, but he's not got enough that he can actually pot that 3. So presumably it'll just be the bank to the short rail at the top side and try and use the 8 and the 5 for cover. That looks on. He's underhit that slightly. He may well find himself in trouble in a second here. He needed to get a bit more beef into that. The idea was good, but he had to get that 3 to there in the cue ball here to block off the path to get to that 3 ball. This is an easy safety here for Acero. I think that's squirted out enough. Yep. So just a wee bit loose on the safeties here. There's good cover behind that. Is that the 4 and 5 that's up there? Yes, it is. Oh, that's a foul. I think he's clipped to 4. Yeah, that's the first real mistake by VPMonster. And it's ball in hand for Acero. And there's still work to do here. When you look at where the 8 is, and you look at where the 9 is, and then you look at where the 10 is, there's a bit of movement to be done. Well, no problem from the 5 to the 7. But the real test is getting on this the 8 ball and getting up for this 9. That shouldn't be a problem as long as he leaves himself good sight in the 8. But that 10 ball is always in a dangerous place sat there. It is not quite as easy as it looks. I think he's gone straight here, which might have scuppered things. Well, that's really straight. He's going to have to put bottom and right English on it, which he's doing to get this to kick up the table. And that's worked out nice. And now he's got enough angle. He wants to be just stunned over that way. He could go back that way if he wants, but it's probably simpler just to stun up the line. Commentator's eye does it again. Look at that. Perfect. So this time it's a reversal of fortunes. VPMonster made his first real mistake, and that's cost him rack number 5. He now still leads by 1. Acero breaks off in rack number 6. He's come up dry. And VPMonster has no shot, but should get a decent safety. Just skimming behind the 3 and 8 and 7. That's beautiful. That's what I'm talking about, because now that is tight. And there is no way in this earth that Acero has an angle to get to that 1 as far as I can see. He might be better looking to tie something up here. I think he's just looking to try and lock a couple of balls up if he can. Yeah, just try to make it awkward, and that's not a bad effort. Because the 3 isn't potable. And the 4 is a problem. Well, now, with ball in hand, VPMonster has a choice, because what he could do is he could come off the 1, send a 1 that way, get that cue ball up there and back down into that corner and try and get 3 fills. And the only thing he'll have now is the choice of playing a decent safety on this 3 ball, unless he's going to try and do something miraculous to try and move it. Well, he's left himself in dire straits here. That was not a good shot. He'd made the decision to pot the 1 and 2, but has he got cover? Yes, he has. I think it'd have been easier to just play what I was suggesting and try and get down here into the corner, but he's got away with it. Acero just looking to hit the old boom bang bang here and kick that 3 ball up the table and hope he gets lucky. And I think he might have got lucky here. He'll be more than pleased with that. It's an easy enough kick, and Monster should be calling this middle pocket here. He's going to go. Is he going to go 2 rails? Looks a lot easier just to kick it, hit into the diamond and call the middle pocket, which is what he's doing. And that looks not bad. That's excellent. That's another very good kick save from VPMonster. It's got Acero in bags of trouble. Again, it's difficult to see an angle to get to that. He's trying to go behind the 7, but he's going to have to spin the cue ball to make the angle to get that cue ball out towards the 3 if he's going that direction. Now he's looking at a 1 rail kick, but the 9 ball is in the way. And I think the middle pocket's in the way as well. He's going to have to try and go 2 rails, and he didn't get enough spin on it. So now what he's done is he's hit the 9, opened up that end of the table, and the table is now at VPMonster's mercy. All in his hands what happens here. But always remember, any of the guys that are still playing in this tournament, you've got a 1 minute shot clock to gather your thoughts and think about how you're going to run out. Romario pays absolutely no attention to that, which is why he's out the tournament. Oh dear, well that's a really slack one. And VPMonster just taking his eye off the ball there. And that is going to be punished. Or at least it should be. He needs to cut that out. He's got plenty of time to do it, but he needs to get that over and done with. Before he starts frittering racks away here with poor shots. Well, that's gone a bit short as well. Acero didn't quite get into that. He's going to be nudging into the 9. And he's got no idea where it's going to end up here. Well, he's going to have to... Is he trying to draw down to the bottom rail? Yes, he is. Well, that's a sore one for VPMonster, because it was a careless shot that's cost him. And Acero has tied the match back up. So the break in rack number 7, back to VPMonster, and he gets the, what ball went, the 9 ball went in, and he's got no shot in the 1, and he's looking to just get to that bottom rail behind the 6, and again he's played a good safety, but got to stay focused. So he's got the reward with ball in hand, and the problem ball amongst others is that 5 ball in the left rail. The other problem is getting from the 3 to the 4. Sorry, no, that's the 2. I was thinking that was the 4. No, he's fine now as long as he gets to the bottom rail, unless he wants to leave it in the gap. Now, can he get that shot out of his mind and just focus on what needs to be done here? And this is the troublesome one, getting on the 5 and getting onto that 6. As soon as you get close to that rail, it limits your options and what you can do. And he's trying to punch off that end rail with inside left English to get to the side rail. 6 ball might be in the way. He's avoided that. Now he can stun and draw off the side rail and across to the right. It's whether he's going to have the control to get the pace right. Yeah, he's tried that. He actually nudged into the 10. But he's not left anything easy. But that was a tough shot. Always was going to be tough to get from the 5 to the 6. Where's the cue ball ending up? Well, he'll take that every day of the week. And he should have enough room to get through and up the table. Off the end rail, up for the 7. So I think it's looking like Acero may well be going into the lead for the first time here. If he can get on the 10. Oh, he's just running a wee bit further up the table. This is another tester, this one. And then it goes off the jaw. So Acero now has the advantage. He leads by 1 rack. And he's breaking off in rack number 8. And the break, I think, is dry. And VPMonster's got a starter. Now I think he might want to draw back and maybe try and spin across for the 2. But it's a tight window to get in to get on that 2 ball. Ten balls in the way as well. You may well have to draw back off this one and try and spin across. Oh, he's played it a lot better than I thought he could. And that's ended up not too bad. Problem now is, has he got enough angle to do any with the cue ball to get out for the 3? He's going to have to punch this in a wee bit. and get this cue ball just running through. Yeah. In the end, he did get out, but that'll be the missed call. So Acero has the choice of playing from where it is or putting Monster back in, but he's not going to do that, obviously. And this is an excellent chance for Acero to widen the gap, the way these balls are sitting now. Six balls, a bit of a hamper. He might just have to run through and play this 5 longer than he really wants. Well, he's come back. Little stun drawback. Inside the 6 is a good plan. That looks a reasonable enough angle. Well, don't hook yourself behind the 10. That's the golden rule here. If anything, just go to the left hand side of the table. Don't hook yourself behind the 10. Well, there's plenty of room to jump. Well, Acero clearly does not feel confident with the jump cue, and he's looking to kick this 8 in. And, well, that might be an advantage to VPMonster, that Acero doesn't have the jump cue in his ammunition, but I think he's got that safe. Or has he? It is extremely thin to try and cut that in at that angle. He's just got to clip it. If he pushes it, it's going to go to the jaw and it's going to hang up. And he's got it perfect. How's his luck? Well, it's not going to be too good, because he's got no shot in the 9. He's going to have to call the combo, I think, here. And this is not easy at that distance. Good afternoon. Welcome to the stream that was never going to be. I got my times all wrong. I thought this one was at 9 o'clock tonight, but it started 45 minutes ago almost. And that's a tough one to take. Been left with that combo. A chance to tie the match up again. But Acero is going to open the gap to 2. Let's see if Acero has any other opportunities to try a jump shot later on, because most of the guys that are handy with the jump cue would have knocked that in no problem, but Acero certainly wasn't interested in it. So it's VPMonster breaking off in rack number 9. He's got a 2 rack gap. He's got a ball in the break. He's got a shot in the 1. And he can get on the 2 and the 3, but he's going to have to deal with that 5 and 6. And he would want to play that shot again, because that was poor. So just to safety. And once again, he's played a damn good safety shot. Now, Acero, the mistake he will make here is if he clips that 2 ball and brushes down to the 5 and 6, he could split them open here. As you're looking to go 3 rails here, 1, 2, 3 to kick that 2 from the bottom side or the top side. As we look, it looks as if he's going 3 rails, between the 9 and the 4. Yep, that's what he's called. He's looking for a 3-rail kick shot here. This will be a cracker if he gets this. Well, it was a good hit, and it's actually reasonably safe. It's another tough cut, which Monster will go for. Now, is he going to go all out here and try and just drop onto this 3? Well, he's went for the split, and he's going to lock himself out. I think that is extremely unfortunate. And all he's done is opened the table for acero. Now, he didn't call a pocket, and he's left it on. And that was a mistake there by Monster. He should have called a pocket there, just in case. And now the table's wide open. So that choice of breaking up the 5 and 6 may well backfire big time here for VPMonster. He still had the opportunity to break the 5 and 6 off the 4 ball. And it was taking a big risk to do that at that point in time. Well, this is not pretty either. Oh, that little kiss onto the 5 has worked out nice. Well, acero is now threatening to break away here. And it's important that VPMonster just does not feel he's in some sort of a desperate situation. This isn't an easy 6, mind you. And he's hung it up. And has he got cover? Well, Monster will be jumping that unless he can just spin and catch the edge of that 6. If he was to jump it, he's a big danger of just falling it in. He's looking to just chip the edge of that 6, but it's deep in the pocket. Oh, that's worked out nice. If it slows down, that is excellent. Because that spin and the angle around those jaws has laid him plumb on the 7. And he's got to take this one out. And he doesn't want to go straight. Well, that's as good as straight. Now what does he do? Does he get a nice controlled draw? Let's have a look. Well, it's another one of these little testers. But you don't spend too much time looking at it. Your eye and your natural instinct will tell you the pot. And that was an important one to get back there. Back to within 1. Break goes back to acero for rack number 10. The 1 ball's going to drop, but the 2's gone safe. And it is very difficult to call this. But I think VPMonster should bear in mind the reluctance of acero to play a jump shot. And that is one good advantage to have if your opponent is reluctant to play the jump stick, because you can put them in trouble, you can put them in cover. You might not necessarily have to get that cue ball tight to an object ball if you know that your opponent's going to try and kick every time. So that's a big advantage to VPMonster. The question is whether he's going to get good use of that. But that's the first thing that would stick in my mind. which is also why you should always be paying attention to what your opponent's doing, and make use of it if you can. And that's ended up not the way he planned. The 2-ball got a double kiss in the 4 there, I think. It's still a very tight cut, but he should be on the 3. A little help in English there, top right English, just to spin up the table for the 4. No problem for the 4 to the 5. And no problem to get on the 6. But the big problem is getting on the 7. Because the 7 ain't going that way. That's a no-no. And he's only got that sort of gap to get on that 7 ball. And that is a big, big ask. There's only like a 10-inch window to somehow get near that 7 ball. And that might well be the safety net for acero. And that needed to spin. He needed to spin that right. He's locked himself out. So now he'll be out with a jump stick. And now he's going to have to get extremely fortunate here to get anywhere near this 7 ball. But having said that, look for a decent enough safety. If you can just cut the 7 along the rail towards the 9, you should have a decent safety shot to play. And that's what he's going to do. He's just going to skim the 6. Just skim it and go that way. And try and avoid the 10. If he avoids the 10, he might get decent cover. I think he's underhit that slightly, but it's still okay. I would have been looking to get that cue ball right up in the top end of the table and get distance between the 2. Because acero can just skim this as well and get distance this time. And that's much more of where VPMonster should have been. And now this is not so easy to get safe. To try and chip that 7 from a distance. Oh, he's played that well. That's an excellent shot. At that distance, to get that pace and play a dead weight shot to lock that cue ball in behind the 9 is so difficult to judge. And that's got him in the driving seat now. If acero can't kick this safe. I need to get a drink here. Well, that's going to be over the corner pocket. And another gilt edge opportunity here for VPMonster. At this stage in the tournament, you have to be putting these racks away if you're going to be a contender. And he's got that wrong. And that's... He tried to stun the 7 and let the cue ball hit the rail with a spin to come back up for the 8, and he's played it all wrong. And what was a gilt edge chance? He's just thrown away there. And it should have been all square. And these little instances with mistakes that Monster's making has cost him racks. At least 2, if not 3. Got to stop them. So it's now back to 2. It's 6-4. And Monster breaking off in rack number 11. Three ball tracking, and it goes shot in the 1, and another Great chance here with that break off. Now, is he going up far enough? I think he has. And straight away, the tough shot. Let's have a look and see how this looks from this side. Well, if he was to pot the 2 and come off the rail and go up, he has to find the gap. And he's run into the 6. But he's okay. He's still got the gap. Little nudge in the 5's helped here. Now, slightly the wrong side of the 5, but that's not the issue. The problem, now if he gets good on this 6, he wants to be there so he could stun across for the 7 into that pocket. Well, he's still got the angle. And he needs to go across to the right and leave that 7 in the same pocket. And he's duffed up the 6 again. And these errors are creeping in fast and furious now from VPMonster. These are all unforced errors. And he'd even having done that, he'd overhit it and blocked himself out in the 7. Well, Acero is going to have to fizz this cue ball and use what angle he can get to get it moving. And he's on the wrong side. He's going to have to play the combo. And this is probably Monster's last chance in this rack. Never an easy shot, but it's now all there for VPMonster. Can he make up for the mistakes he's made in these recent racks? He can't let this gap widen any further. Got to stay with him. And I always say that the more you can stay with your opponent when you get down to the business end of the match, it's amazing how things can change, because then when it gets down to that point in the match, the nerves start from both sides, and it's who can hold himself together the most. And Monster's overhit that. He's going to have one of these awkward cuts. But you've just got to go for 100%. Have a look at the angle and play the shot and just watch the cue ball. He's played it well and he's back to within 1. So he's got out of jail on that rack. That difficult combo that Acero was left with. That's what gave him the chance. Acero breaks off. The break is dry, and look at these balls again. They are perfect. Apart, well, I'm looking to see where the problem is, if there was one. The problem's slightly the 3 ball, but if he can get, again, he's just trying to spin that cue ball and drag it. And he's pushing that 1 ball offline. But he's got lucky. Acero looking to just kick in off the rail here. Oh, Acero's caught the 7. And that's left Monster on. Now he may well skim past the 10 with this one ball. Well, he's not risking it. He's trying to lock him up. But that was still a chance there for VPMonster to pot the 1. He would have had a shot in the 2. And he's refused it. He's looking for a better opportunity. But the thing is, sometimes the more you wait, it turns out the less opportunities you're going to get. But now he's got the better opportunity. Acero's missed the kick. And it's ball in hand. And this is where you have to take the assessment of the lay of the table and how you're going to run this. Because the first thing I think about is what I'm doing. 1, 2, and get back for the 3. Or you go down here for the 3 and leave it into the middle, because even if you run to there, you're still on the 4. So that would keep it simple. It's just running that 3 across into the middle pocket. You don't have to do anything with the cue ball. It just has to roll through. And Monster's looking at it. But that's the simple way of doing it. It's just to roll the 3 in. You're always going to have a shot in the 4. Well, he's drawn back. And he had to get there. And this is tight. Well, it's tight when you look at it, as long as he makes sure he's given it plenty of pocket. And he's hit it to the jaw. He should have done what I said. That 7 ball always grows larger when you're having to play that cut past it. And that is the wrong choice of shot. He played the draw right enough, but it just made the shot more difficult. The run through for the 3 into the middle was a simple shot. And this is going to hurt, because there's far too many errors coming in from VPMonster. And Acero has got the table wide open to open the gap again. But all you have to do is forget about what's happened. And don't let these things play in your mind. And just go on with the next shot. But it might mean you just have to spend that wee bit more time over a shot if you're doing things wrong and making all these unforced errors. Well, there's one there from Acero. Now, what does he do? Because if he's going to go full-blooded, he's going to bang that 9 into the middle and get the cue ball running around the angles, or he calls the bank. But the full-blooded shot is into the middle, and it's rattled round the jaws. Well, this is tough. It's a good bank, though. It's on that first diamond, and it's a good bank to call. But Monster's looking at trying to cut this. Oh, no, he's made up his mind, because the bank looks good to me. But you've just got to play it at the right pace and let it take the angle off the rail and get to the pocket, rather than trying to thump it in. And that's going in every day of the week. And this is not a straight in 10 ball. But for his sake, it has to go in. This to tie the match up. And in it goes. So again, the unforced error from Acero this time. Getting square on that 9 ball. And VPMonster got another bite at the cherry. and this time he's taking it. And we're all 6 across the board. Well, now we have problems. It's a dry break from Monster. Acero's got the 1 ball, and it's more than likely going to be he's going to try and manufacture a combo here, but that looks difficult to do. You would actually need to try and get the cue ball here to try and play the combo and make the combo in that 210. Well, he's trying to split them. That was a tall order. Now the 3's locked up, hiding behind the 10 ball. So we're going to get a wee bit of a safety exchange here, I would think. And this match has now been on for just short of an hour and 10. Now, did I miss that there? Did Acero call the bank? I presume he did. Remember, you've got to hit a rail. Well, he's nudged the 3 to the rail, trying to get over behind the 4. Well, this is another one of these important racks because Monster's got himself back all square. It's been hard work, and self-inflicted injuries have cost him a number of racks already. And Acero has played a good one. And Monster will be jumping over the 5, no doubt. Well, it's not the fact that he's missed a jump, it's the fact that he's got it safe that's the most important, and that's ended up pretty good. I mean, that 3 will pop past the 6, but that is a tall order. And that middle pocket's very adjacent as well on the left-hand side. Well, Monster has a chance to get that cue ball near the 7. Send the 3 out into the middle of the table and try and get the cue ball towards the 7 ball. And use that 4 if he can. Well, it's not got cover. And no real advantage, I think, in trying to cut this down. Really, he'll do well to cut that and get a good shot in the 4. this time he's way off the mark with the bank. And it's a starter here. Acero. Well, that's going wrong. He's overhit it. And now he's the wrong side of the 6. And he's just going to have to baby it in and try and hold for a shot in the 7. And now he's going to have to go up and down the table here. Oh, if that hits the 9, that's a bonus. Well, that's worked out perfect. He's chipped the 9 off the rail, over the pocket more or less, and now it's an easy out. As long as he gets the 8, that is. So VPMonster just cannot get his nose back in front. Got in front right at the start of the match, but since then he's been chasing after Acero, and most of the reasons he is all down to his own mistakes. So it's now 7-6, and Acero now has a break, and something went into the top left hand corner. That was the 6 ball. He's trying to tuck in behind a 3, and I think he's almost got there. Well, I think you can spin around a 3 and just clip that one. With the 2 and 5 tied up, it's probably worth just playing a little massy. And maybe even calling the pot in the 1. Oh, he's knocked a 3 in, but the 2 and the 5 are still tied up. Now, does Acero fancy trying to play some sort of combo in the 10? I don't think so. And can he get an angle on this 1 to break out the 2 and 5? Well, we can see what his plan is. He's looking to play the combo. And in it goes, and very quickly the gap has gone to 2 again. And I'm eating a bit of chocolate just for sustenance until I go for my dinner after this match. Well, it's looking ominous here that it's going to be 3 quick racks for acero. We're beyond halfway in this match, and if we can get these last remaining balls, which are all wide open, he's going to have a 3 rack gap. Well, this is a toughie though. And this is a tougher one as well. He's just got to get that to the pocket and do nothing else. And in off the jaw. And another tough one. So it's not easy. He's leaving himself work to do. And that is roughly where you want to be. Now he's going to have to probably go just slightly forward and leave the long 10 if he wants. Back into this pocket here. That would mean you're doing very little with the cue ball other than just leaving a straightish 10. Well, he's got it running. And that is finished dead straight anyway, pretty much. So he'll take that one. Risky to do that when he had a simpler option. But now there is a 3 rack gap, and acero has broken off, and he's got the 1 ball in the break. And the gap is opening up at the right time for acero. It's all a question of whether VPMonster can respond. Quick reminder, guys, anybody that's still watching, having cocked up my times of the matches today, this is the one that's on now on the winner's side. And our 3rd match of today is scheduled for later on tonight. And that's the 2nd one today in the 1 loss side between DJ Simon and Larry. I'm going to go and get my dinner after this match, and we'll be back for that one later on tonight, which I'm just about to have a look at the bracket and remind myself what time it's at. And it's going to be at 8 PM tonight, British summer time, so that'll be 3 PM in the afternoon, East Coast. And that was a good jump there. And he's left a combo in the 3-7, that's perfect. Where's the 3 ball going? And that's worked out nice. Well, it's going to be a sequence of combos here by the look of it, because he's already got that one. He's got the 3 ball. Excuse me, voice is going. I need a quick drink. It's going to have to be the combo in the 4 and 5, and the chances are, if he gets there, it's going to have to be a combo in the 9 and 10, and that's nowhere near set either. And the 4's gone dead, and that's scuppered his chances. Trying to tuck along behind the 9. And that's not bad. Easy kick, but he doesn't know where it's going. But he's called the corner. Well, the time on the bracket was fine, it's just that I couldn't read it. I thought that this match was tonight at 9 o'clock, but I was looking at the wrong match in the bracket. The match between who the hell is it? There's one tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. I can't remember what match that is, which is the Mr. Bill Vince's match, and I mixed that up with this match tonight, and I forgot this one. I didn't realise this one started an hour and 25 minutes ago. Well, VPMonster has got a critical shot coming up here. I think he can avoid hitting the 10. It would all be a question of whether he can get on this 8 ball and try and go over the right side of that 9, or try and pot the 8 and get a good split on the 9 and 10, or leave the combo. I think he might run into the 10 here. Looking at, the more I look at it, the more I think he's going to hit it. Well, he's avoided it. Well, now he can get to the other side of the 9. He can pot that 8 and he can draw. He needs to dig in, and he's got it all wrong. He didn't play that with much confidence. Yeah, I forgot about the stub match, you know. I forgot about that one as well, yeah. We'll have a good look at the bracket at the end of this match so I can get clear on what's happening. Well, where Acero's sitting, it's much easier just to play the thin safety off the 9 and get distance, because he's actually opening everything right up here if he's going to try and play this combo from the angle he's at. Yeah, that was really, really tough. And this is even tougher, to pot this 9 and get that cue ball up for the 10, because the angle on this 9, if you play it plain ball, the cue ball wants to go to the rail and come back this way slightly. So if it bounces off the rail, it's going to get up that way. Well, he's managed to spin it. Where's the cue ball going? It's going to go round the knuckles and he's going to have a shot in the 10. Oh, that's an amazing shot. That is a cracking shot to get there on the 10 ball. He'll take that every day of the week. And what a vital rack for VPMonster. And that brings him back within 2. A really crucial rack to win and stop Acero getting to the double figures. But straight away, VPMonsters broke off and scratched the middle pocket. And he's handed the advantage straight back to Acero. And Acero's looked at the layout. And he's just got to get from that 2 up to the 3. The 4's in the right hand rail, up in the top right hand side. And now he's got the perfect angle on the 2 to cut that 2 and come off the rail between the gap between the 7 and 8 and drop down for the 3. And that's gone a bit straight though. And the other problem is he's close to the rail, so he's going to have to leave this at distance, I think. If he starts running this cue ball, he could run into trouble with that 5 and 10 ball. Well, he's playing it from the far side, which is a sensible one. Well, another crucial shot coming up in a minute to get from the 6 to the 7, and then finding a way to get on that 8 ball. And he's left it short. But if he pots this 7 and he comes around the angles at the top right hand corner, he should be on the 8. Cue ball back up to more or less where it is right now. Well, he's went with inside and around, and that has worked out. Well, has it worked out? I think he's going to have to. He's going to have to bend this, and we're right behind, so we can see if he can get the touch. Nope, it's not going to be there. And VPMonster gets his lifeline, and he'll be all over this like a rash. And he's got to get out and take that 9 ball into the middle pocket. That is a shot. He doesn't want to be playing it long and leaving himself straight in the 9. He wants to get that 9 in the middle. And that's the right shot, because now he's got the angle to get across for the 10. Well, Acero chose to go the opposite direction, the opposite rail from what I was talking about. He went right rail to the left short rail, and he just overhit it a tad. And look at what Monster's left himself, and he's managed to cut it in. He held his nerve there, and he's back to within 1. And the match has been on for 90 minutes now. And Acero's break is dry. And there's a shot here for Monster to pot the 1. Come around behind that 3. And if he avoids the 3, he should have a shot in the 2. Well, he's tried to play some form of safety here, and that's all gone wrong. I don't know what he visualised there, whether he was trying to run into the 8 and the 9. But it's... well, that's putting it mildly, saying it's a failed safe. And Acero's gone short on the 2, so this is going to be thin. And Acero looking to find control of this cue ball here. He's out of shape, and he's got another difficult one. He might have to go across twice again here to get on the 4. And that will do. But we know where all the problems lie. Let's have a look at what we have here. Well, the 8 ball isn't going anywhere, so something's got to be disturbed at the top end of the table. And VPMonster trailing by 1 rack. Might still have a chance in this one if Acero can't get a breakout. off this 7 ball. He's having a look at the 8, but I'm pretty certain the 8 isn't going anywhere. I mean, if you look at it from there, it's not going in. There's no way he's going to get good in that to try and pot that. That is... If you look at it from there, it looks as if it squeezes past, but it's far too tight. Well, he's convinced he can get it. This is very, very tight. Oh, that's a good shot. That is excellent. That was pinpoint accuracy to get that 8 ball in. I'd never thought that'd go in at all. And that is a well won rack there for Acero. So there's very little encouragement there for VPMonster that Acero's getting nervous, because that was a cracking shot to get good on that 8 ball. My eyes are bad enough, but that was really tight. Well, that's a good point, you know, but it really was a good shot to actually get there, and even better to get the pot. Deserved that one. And once again, with just the threat that VPMonster might have a chance in that rack, it's been snatched away from him with a great out from Acero to open the gap to 2 again, and this time Acero is in double figures, needing just 4 more to move through to the next round. And if that's a sign that Acero's coming on strong at the right time, I don't think you need any more evidence than that run out that he had there in that rack. That was excellent. And the little billiard onto the 4. Now, how's that 5? Well, there's plenty of room. Oh dear. And the reason he missed that is because he was playing that with so much inside English to check and hold for the 6. It looked a lot worse than it was. And now, can Monster see enough of this 5 to cut it in, or does he have to punch it around the table? And the answer to that is no, he couldn't. So he's done the best he can to get a decent safety. Well, I'm going to mention it again. Here we go with another crucial rack. VPMonster in the ascendancy here with a safety position. Now, can he get any benefit from it? And more importantly, can he take that advantage should he get it? We're on a knife edge here. And once again, it's a good kick, but no safety. And now Monster has to get that little soft draw and get enough sight on the 6. Well, now he's the wrong side, so he must go behind the 9. Plenty of room to get on the 7. He's looking to see if he can avoid hitting the 9. I think he needs to go through with right English and a fair wee bit of power, and he's clipped into them. Has he avoided the 10? Yes, he has. He's still okay. The 7's well off the rail. It's a decent enough cut. Where's the cue ball going? He's okay. And now just drop the 9 in dead weight. And he's on the 10 once he pots this 8. So he needs to get over to that right hand side as much as he can. And that is perfect. And so it's back to within 1 for VPMonster, and he's been trailing since the 4th rack. He was 2-1 up, and then since then VPMonster has just been hanging in. I think the lead went to 3 at one point in the match, and Acero's broke off in rack number 20. The break's dry, and this opportunity here is the type of opportunity that Monster must take right now at this point in the match. Trailing by 1 rack, and all the balls are there. They've all got a pocket. Now, is this going to be the crucial rack, apart from all the other crucial racks that we've had so far? Because we're now at the business end of the match, and this is the test of nerve and bottle. And it's going to have to be a little soft draw again. And that can't be any more perfect than where he's sat right now. That is perfect. Got to get the little draw right though. And again, he's played it well. Now, is he going to run into this 10 ball? I don't think he can avoid it. And that might be a problem. Well, I don't think it's really changed the situation here. It's made it a wee bit tighter between the 10 and the 8, but the 8 cuts from anywhere here. So he's just got to go over to the left hand side and up to the middle pocket if he can, and that is perfect. That is very well played. You couldn't place the ball any better, apart from the fact he's closer to the rail than you'd really like, but he's still at the table. And he's still got the chance. And anything but straight on this 9 ball. Well, it's got to be power, whatever direction he wants to go. He can go forward. He can draw back. And if he draws back and punches off that side rail, he may well drop onto the right hand side of the 10 as we look at it. If he goes forward, he's coming the short side of the 10, I think. Is he? Has he avoided a scratch? Oh, a disaster. He'd have been better going the first choice that I suggested. And that there is a sore one. That is painful to take. And it's back to 2. And it could have been 10 all. The table at his mercy, and the scratch to get to the 10 ball. And VPMonster with a ball in the break and a shot in the 1, but that's all over the place, and it's a missed call. Now, how long is he going to dwell on that scratch? Because he's still well in the match. And Acero trying to get around the corner for a shot in the 3, and he got there. And this time, VPMonster isn't going to be jumping. He's going to have to pick the point off the short rail and try and kick that 2 in. Now he needs to call it. Well, he hasn't. Well, we know that the 3 goes. It goes in the gap. between the 7 and the 5. Now Acero, I don't know whether he's looking to find a gap and play that 3 long. That's a bit tight looking at that. I think he's got up the table. And I think my voice is going to disappear. Now, is that going to spin far enough? Well, he has a shot. And it just has to be rolled in and go through, and he'll be on the 4. He can drop off the end rail and out for the 4. And that's well played. Oh dear, and he's taking his eye off the ball, trying to hold for that 6 into the right middle, and he's completely forgotten about the 5. And it's another chance that VPMonster was not expecting. Now, can he get anywhere on this 6 ball? Because it's not getting into the corner. It's not going into that middle. It's really awkward where it's sat. He could just stun along to the 10 and leave the 6 long. That'd be the safest bet of actually giving himself a shot. The angle's on that 5 there, just to stun towards the 10 and leave the long 6. As long as he's not going to hamper himself over the 10, which I think he might be doing. Let's have a look. No, he's okay. But he's got to move the cue ball with maybe a little bit of inside again to come down the right hand side of the table for the 7. Has he been able to hold it? He's held it. That's even better. I'm getting a bit excited. Now, the angle is perfect. He just has to pot this with the pace, and he's on the 10. And he's going to be back to within 1. And the break goes back to Acero for rack number 22. And the 3's gone in. And he's got a shot in the 1. But there is a lifeline for VPMonster in this rack. The 4 and 8 are tied up. Now it's going to be the 2-10 combo. Well, this looks pretty good, this 2-10. Well, the vital thing is here it has to go in, because if it goes off the rail and comes down to the 4 and 8, he's opening it up, but he's got it. And the gap has gone to 2 again. And Acero just needs to and the break back with VPMonster, desperate for a ball in the break, and there's nothing doing, and the 1 ball over the middle pocket, 2 ball blocked by the 4, 8 and 9 tied up in the bottom right hand side, and the 5 over on the right hand rail as well. So this is a bit ugly, and this is a tough one for anybody to win this rack, but so vital for VPMonster Can he somehow find his way through this rack and stay in with a chance? Well, the combo played on the 4, but no great shot in the 2. This is not easy, because he's looking nowhere near the pocket to play this 2. You've just got to pick a potting angle. But what he could do is try and get in behind that 8 and 9. It doesn't look as if he's playing that either. Well, he's gone all out for the 2. And now VPMonster has his chance, albeit a slim one. Because if he's to pot the 7, how the hell is he going to be able to break that 8 ball if he gets that far? Because the 5's just as big a problem where it's sitting. But he has a chance of getting a good safety. That 8 and 9 and 10 are good for cover if he has to run and hide. And he could do that now. He could send the 3 up to the top right hand corner if he can, and try and bring the cue ball back across towards that 8 and 9. I think you need just to hit that 3 ball towards the first knuckle, the nearest knuckle in that middle pocket, and try and come back across. Well, he's gone for the cut. And, well, for his sake, at the time being, he's missed the split in the 8 and 9. He's now looking at a possible combo here with this 5 and 7, and this is tough. Good luck if you're going for that. But again, he's not calling it. He's trying to spin in behind the 7, and that's a great effort. That is an excellent shot. And that's going to be ball in hand. Good afternoon. Bit of a late arrival, but you're arrived at the right time. And so VPMonster has ball in hand. Now what does he do? Well, he's lining up the combo. He's looking at playing a combo. If he's going to try and break this 8 and 9 off this, no, he's not. I think the 5's gone safe. Well, now he's got to hide. He's going to try and drop in behind the 8 and 9 and the 10. And there's good odds on him getting this right. But the 5 ball has come up the table, but the cue ball is perfect. And it's another nailed on safety there by VPMonster. And that's where the experience of playing the cowboy and everything all comes to the fore. Being able to play caroms and shots like that are always to your advantage when you come into games like 9 ball and 10 ball. Especially if you're looking for the decent safety. Oh, and now Acero has got the hit in the 5, but he's split open the 8 and 9. Now that 6 ball goes past the 9 that side. Now can VPMonster get down onto this 6? He's got every opportunity of doing that. And the pace is pretty good. As long as he leaves a decent angle, he's gone a bit straight. He's going to have to punch this in if he wants to get top side of that 8 ball for the 8 ball into the same pocket. I think he needs to dig down in this to get the punch in to get it up the table. Oh, well, that's brilliant. He's found the little angle to get in there. I didn't think he could hit it as soft and get there, but he's played it well. And now it all hinges on getting out onto that 10. I think he's gone straight, but there shouldn't be a problem. Just another draw and get out into the table to get back within 1 again. Well, he's no risking it. He's just going to leave it long, which is probably the right thing to do at this stage in the match. He sent that to the jaw. Oh, threw it in it good. I'm panicking here. I'm getting nervous myself watching this. But it's back to just within the 1 again. And the break goes back to Acero. And he's got a ball in the break. In fact, he's got the 2 and the 4. They've gone. Now, is Acero going to be able to get from this 3 ball if he gets on it and get down to the 5? Let's have a look at the 5. We can see it goes, but only really from this side. It's not going from that side. You've got to get in the short side of it. And look at where he is in the 3, and his chances have diminished. It's going to have to be a brilliant shot here to get anywhere on that 5. Oh, that's excellent if it travels. That's another great shot by Acero. And he's going to have to stun this for the 6 into the same pocket. And probably the same again. I don't think he wants to risk running around towards that 9 ball. And now it's getting on to the 8. Well, if anything, you underhit this and just finish somewhere by the middle pocket in the left-hand side. Well, he's went around the angles, but he's still looking good. And VPMonster just cannot get back on level terms. He's been trying since, been 2-1 up, and he hasn't got there. And Acero now can drop in behind the 10 off the right side rail and come out. So this to take him to the hill, to within 1. And in it goes, and the break will go back to VPMonster. And Acero leads 13-11, 1 away from victory. And he's scratched on the break, and that might be his last shot. Because not only that, he's got a ball in the break. It's ball in hand for Acero. He's not going to risk playing some silly 110 combo, surely. No, that's never on. So he's all set for the run out, and these balls are perfect. And that most likely is VPMonster's last shot, barring a complete accident here by Acero. And it must be well into Sunday morning where Acero is in Japan. It's 6 PM my time. The match has been on for just a minute short of 2 hours. But it must be about, oh goodness me, it must be about 2 AM in the morning in Japan. And that's perfect. He's just taking his time. He wants to get the job done here. But he's got to get from that 5 to the 7. And it all looks so simple until you come to the table yourself and you have to do it. Where's the cue ball? Well, he wants to go around. He doesn't want to run into that 10. I think he'll avoid it if he doesn't put... Yeah, he's fine. As long as it travels, he's left it a wee bit short. And this is a wee tester. And now, getting out onto the 9, and he should be home and dry. Well, it's turned out to be a very good match, and I always thought that VPMonster, as long as he kept himself in the match, he always had a chance, but he just could not get there. Well, this is still a tester, this one. 10 wide open in the middle of the table, and he's got a nasty little cut back into the middle. And in it goes. And he's sitting pretty good on the 10. So this for the match. And we'll have a look at the bracket. And in goes the 10. A strong finish from Acero. And a deserved win at 14 racks to 11. And if only VPMonster had cut out those unforced errors earlier on in the match, it could have turned out so different. But VPMonster will go to the one-loss side, and he'll still be in with a good chance over there in the race to 10. So let's have a look at the bracket, and we'll start from the top. We've got Mr. Bill and Vince says they're set to play tomorrow. It hasn't been confirmed yet, so until that happens, there's nothing happening in that match yet. And tomorrow night at 9 PM, we have Spectre Dawn against Stubb in their third round match. And Acero is sitting there waiting for the winner of that match. So again, it's going to be another good match, whoever gets through. So with the way things are going, we've got Larry and DJ Simon, who are up in a couple of hours time at 8 PM British Summer Time, 3 PM East Coast Time, noon Pacific Time, and we'll be back for that match. And then, of course, if Vince says and Mr. Bill agree, then it should be about 3 PM in the afternoon tomorrow. Then we have Mr. Bill playing Vince says in round 4 tomorrow afternoon, and I'll be here for that as well. So until then, folks, it's been a good afternoon, and it's been a good match we've just seen. And I will be back later, and I will bid you good afternoon. Take care, and thanks once again for your company. We'll see you later, folks.